On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about peace sells, but who's buying? By Megadeth. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Medalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal. We like talking about it. And today we're talking about the 1986 classic thrash metal album, Peace Sells, ... Was
this 86 or 85?
I'm pretty sure this is 86 because it came out the same year as Rain and Blood.
Okay.
Which was a significant thing. What was the Metallica album that came out this year?
Master Puppets would have been 86. I feel like this was 85, but no, you're probably right. You looked it up.
Because, it was Master Puppets, Rain and Blood, and Peace Sells, but who's buying? So it was a big year for
thrash metal.
And
then the following year, of course, Among the Living comes out.
Yes. So it's, a series of huge albums for the big four thrash metal bands. But... this is Megadeth's second full-length album. This is like my first Megadeth album that I've listened to all the way through. So we'll talk more about that. Megadeth in the news.
Yeah.
As of late, largely in connection to Dave Ellefson leaving the band. There was some potential controversy there. I guess there is controversy in the sense that he was... I think Dave used it. Dave Mustaine used it as an opportunity to just get rid of Ellefson.
Sure, even though they've been bandmates for 36 years.
There's been some growing creative tensions between the two of them for a while, supposedly. But Dave Ellefson had a sex tape leak essentially. Right. And there was immediately concern that the girl was underage or whatever, who's a young woman, but
she turned out not
to both of them, to both parties involved in the video itself, it was consensual between two adults. They were fine with that. The problem now is, this qualifies as revenge porn. Who leaked this? Can there be some action taken against whoever put it on the internet in the first place? Whatever you want to say about Dave Ellefson, maybe a guy his age sleeping with someone, a young woman like that, maybe he's kind of creepy, but it wasn't illegal.
Right, she was an adult.
Yeah, she's a consenting adult. So at most, it's kind of like, old dude. And an old bassist who's like I know she was supposedly a fan, but who's, what young woman is such a big Megadeth fan that you want to sleep with Dave Ellefson? I just don't see it. I'm not going to shit on anyone.
He's been famous for a long time.
True.
You know, David, he's been a constant member of the band.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Old man dick. Going on right there.
I don't know. I won't judge. I won't judge anyone for that sort of thing.
Like me, I could, if I were single, I could sleep with a woman half my age, and it would be gross. I would
that it would be gross.
I know that it would be gross, and not from my perspective. I would feel gross for her.
Yeah. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, this is what...
You're better than this.
Do we need to call your father?
Get it? It's like, speaking of creepy people, I was thinking of what got brought to mind is Kevin Spacey at the end of what is American Beauty, where he comes out of it and is like, oh shit, this is a girl that's like my daughter's age. I'm being this whole thing I've been doing is really weird and creepy, and stops, and then he dies.
That's because the neighbor shoots him or whatever. Right?
Because his extremely homophobic neighbor was closeted gay and has misconstrued the whole situation. But
he was one of those people who say, whenever I think about men having sex all day long, it really, really makes me mad.
What? Yeah. Why are you thinking about that all day long?
You're thinking about men having sex all day? I think you have some unanswered issues.
What was the thing that you told me today about Megadeth in the news?
Oh, yeah. Well, because he Mustaine was going around a studio situation, or maybe
they were looking for a new
green room
bassist,
situation.
And they found one.
Apparently they have a new bassist, and he's doing, because they're recording a new album now.
Re-recording Dave Ellefson's parts.
They are,
which they had apparently already gotten through, for their new album.
Yeah, that's shoving someone toward the door and then kick them in the ass when they're walking through. I mean,
that's a little unfair. We'll talk more about the history of Megadeth and Dave Mustaine. And
this is one of the first 5 CDs I owned ever.
Yeah. In the age of the CD.
Mm-hmm.
The dawning age of the CD. We'll talk more about how you're an old man later. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm in the middle of a 3-day juice cleanse, as you know.
Yeah. I don't know why you decided. Well, I know why you decided to do it, but I don't. I know why, but I don't understand why.
Well, see, my little brothers, we're on an app, my little brother and my little sisters. And all the time they're like, hey, let's do another 70-day workout run. Yeah. And then my brother's like, I need to lose 17 pounds. And I'm like, fuck you. Really?
Yeah.
you are in the best shape that I could ever hope to be all the time.
Well, both of them are former / current military folks, aren't they?
Well, yeah. My brother's a major in the United States Air Force. And
your sister was also wasn't your sister also in the military?
She was a captain in the military. She actually went to war. She was in Baghdad. In fact, my little sister, who really loves Hello Kitty and putting it on things, if it came on or off of the base in Baghdad, it had to go through her specifically. and of course, so she's talking to my mom. My mom was a worrywart, of course. Yeah. And my sister's calling home. She's, hi, Mom. Oh, nothing much going on here. It's not what you think. It's not a war zone.
Meanwhile, explosions.
Meanwhile, people are dying behind her.
Jesus.
She's, well, I'll talk to you later. Love you, Mom. And she's on the phone.
But like they both had have had and continue to have successful tenures in the military.
Yes.
Whereas it didn't quite take for you.
I was in for 21 days, but I don't like to talk about it.
So perhaps the discipline for fitness is with them. Is with them.
Plus, they at least, because our other sister Maggie, her husband is a dedicated member of the Air Force.
So
he's also kind of a badass.
PT is with the
PT and discipline is with them, and I've got 10 years. At least on all that group.
Yeah.
And at least, like 30 pounds on all of that group.
So if I was a decade younger, maybe I'd join for the running.
Exactly.
Perhaps.
If I'm so fucking blind and so fucking old, I'd take a flamethrower to this place. But so I'm going to say, they're like, we're going to lose a lot of weight. We're going to work out every day and it's going to be great. And they're positive and wonderful.
I'm going to drink some juice.
I'm going to drink some juice for a few days. We'll see how I feel. Because I don't want to lose 17 pounds. I want to lose like 35 pounds.
Okay.
What I need to do.
And give that a shot.
Yeah, but I don't need to jump right into it. I mean, anything that I would actually need to do to lose weight in a foreseeable amount of time.
Yeah.
I would have to really, get a workout in. My doctor
drastically change your life.
Yes, and I was told that my heart is great for a man your age,
and size, and whatnot.
Yeah, it's got some wear and tear on it. Could probably use a Band-Aid or a staple, but you're fine.
Could use a polish.
Yeah,
that'll buff out.
I was also told that losing weight will solve my tachycardia problem.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
losing weight solves a lot of problems.
Indeed.
If you have achy joints, lose some weight. Mm-hmm. You got if you're overweight by a little bit or a lot, losing weight just solves a lot of those problems.
Right.
Also, but for a lot of people, when you're someone who has gotten into a position where you need to lose weight, mm-hmm. you are not living the type of life where you find losing the weight easy.
You have to make basic changes to your everyday life.
Yeah. Fundamental changes to the way things work.
So that's what I do. I mean, I walk at least 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
But I think I need to maybe walk them faster, walk them harder.
Maybe jog a bit. 1,000 of them or something like that.
Or run. I'm always afraid of jogging because my knees are shit. So I think running is better than jogging.
Is it?
Yeah, it's less impactful. Jogging is not moving very far and then slamming your foot into the ground. Whereas there's a grace to running. You
could probably learn how to do it a better way. I don't know, there's probably less impactful ways to jog. I don't know.
Maybe.
You gotta bounce around like a soccer mom at the park. Yeah. You know how they kind of bounce like they're a deer?
Uh-huh.
It's like that. So you gotta look real silly as a grown ass man with a beard bouncing around in the park.
Get me some of them sweatpants that say juicy on the butt. Yeah, you know.
One of those baby blue tank tops.
Exactly. Morning, ladies.
Now I'm just thinking of season 3 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, season 3 or 4.
I want to watch that show.
They
I haven't seen it yet.
Jake and Captain Holt have to go into hiding into the witness protection program in Florida. And Captain Holt joins a jogging group of these ladies in their neighborhood, and also hilariously pretends to be heterosexual, which for him involves constantly mentioning how attracted he is to various women and verbatim huge weighty breasts.
Clearly what he's saying is not practiced.
Yes.
This is not a thing he's thought of before.
Because Captain Holt is like, I love Captain Holt. He's one of my favorite television characters because like he is gay and it's like, you know, it's a part of who he is, and it's, you know, it comes up relatively often, but it never feels like it's being, he feels like a person in a way that many gay characters on television shows do not feel like real people.
Sure, they feel like
they're just there to be gay.
Yeah.
Whereas Holt has tons and tons and tons of other qualities to his character.
Sure.
That make him interesting. And also, like, Captain Holt is just a fantastically written character, generally speaking. And he's very funny.
And his ex-boyfriend of the show is Ron Swanson.
Yes,
so, yeah.
which is a hilarious episode. And also, like, he's extremely, like, studious and serious and very, you know, well-spoken and erudite. And his husband is a college professor. Right. And to his husband's friend group and work group, Holt is a hot piece of ass. Holt is like a trophy husband. Yeah. Because he's a police officer and not like a college professor or something. Right. Not, you know, a tenured lawyer or something. He's, you know, he's basically a trophy husband.
Like my man fights crime.
Yeah, yeah. They consider him to be like a himbo, essentially.
A himbo?
Yeah. That's one of the word himbo, I think, is great because it describes a very particular type of person.
Sure.
And also it's because, like, if you call a woman a bimbo, there's a lot of negative connotation to that.
Yeah, that's...
you know, you're calling them stupid. It's weird that the male version is oddly like, you're acknowledging, okay, this person's not very bright. But, like, when it's used by people on the internet, it's usually like, you know, yeah, he's not very bright, but isn't he adorable and nice? And it's usually not like, they're usually very, someone you would describe as a himbo is like Bolin on Legend of Korra.
Okay,
would be a classic example
the younger
of what,
brother
like,
or whatever,
the internet would consider a himbo. He's a big, dumb hunk that's very lovable.
Sure, but I think that because that coming from the male perspective, you know, historically, we as men aren't... you know, don't have to worry about being, you know, under the heel of something. I mean,
well, and being like sexually attractive has less negative connotations to it. There's a lot to unpack in the differences between those words. But it is a part of my vocabulary now because I've spent too much time on the internet.
How do you feel about a Yojimbo?
Fantastic movie. I haven't seen that. That's a Akira Kurosawa movie, right? I've never seen any Kurosawa movies.
Really?
Which I
man, you should remedy that.
I know.
Those are fantastic. Have you ever seen like The Magnificent Seven?
No, but I know that, like, a lot of classic westerns were
influenced by Kurosawa.
Straight up based on, like, Kurosawa movies, which themselves were generally, I think, based on, like, classic, like, samurai stories, essentially.
I think Fistful of Dollars is the Italian, I guess, really version of Yojimbo.
But and it's kind of funny because, like there are a lot of parallels between, like, the iconic movie cowboy and the Ronin, and also they're from the same time period. Sure. People don't realize that, like, people think samurai and think it's the
1,000 years ago.
It's like, no. like samurai were doing their whole thing in the 1850s. because like Japan had only recently like opened up to the outside world,
right?
And firearms were extremely tightly regulated, to the point of almost being completely disallowed, so that the noble samurai class could maintain a level of control over the country, because if you give a peasant a gun, bye samurai.
Sure.
Like,
wow, that would be a weird Mo Willems book.
Bye samurai.
If you give a peasant a gun.
If you give a peasant a gun. Yeah. Well, and it was also a much more striking difference. Like, people talk about how the firearm is what killed the knight in Europe.
Sure.
That was a very slow death. And there's a lot of other factors that happened causing the prevalence of like armored knights to decay over time. Like firearms were used in the late 1300s. Sure. It was when like the first like guns and cannons started being used in Europe. It just took a long time for them to be small and light enough to be effective in any sort of, versus in the 1850s in Japan, you're giving, a percussion cap, rifled, Minet ball firing, it's still a musket. Well, it's not really, it's a rifle. It's a breech loading rifle. It's because a musket has to be smoothbore technically. Right. That's a thing I know as
it's not, there's no rifling.
And by that
literally
time,
how the gun gets its name.
Yeah. By that time, muskets were no longer a thing. And the Minet ball is what caused that. I'm not going to go into what that means.
The Minet ball still sounds like something for ass play.
Yeah. She put them Minet balls up there, and
it was good time.
Look, Jerry. I'm telling you.
Be good to yourself.
Be good to yourself, all right? Learn to love yourself a little bit better, okay? Explore who you are. Anyway.
Yeah.
But you're handing like very modern weaponry, and the armor that, it would be used against was not able to protect against it whatsoever. Like revolvers were a thing by that point.
Right. Oh, yeah, of course.
Like, so it's, basically right up to the Civil War era weaponry that, could be used against samurai. And you can imagine about how well that would go. And so that's why the whole class basically just disappeared.
Sure.
Over, the period of a decade in Japan. That's something that I feel like I should read some books about, or something like the end of the samurai. I think that's a very interesting period in another country that I should know more about.
There are great books out there.
Yeah, there's lots of great books. There's billions and billions. Billions and billions. I prefer that version. I prefer the Carl Sagan version of Billions and Billions instead of the Donald Trump one.
Yeah, of course.
It's more pleasant to hear Carl Sagan say that.
He had a very pleasant voice.
Carl Sagan, I could listen to him talk about literally anything. It's a tragedy that he's been gone for so long.
The way to make a ham sandwich.
First, you take a piece of bread, just like any other piece of bread you might find. The molecules inside
were formed in the furnace of a dying sun, just like those molecules in your body.
We are all made of star stuff as passengers on spaceship Earth. Then you take the ham.
Actually, he did say if you want to bake a pie, you must first invent the universe or whatever. What was it he said?
Something like that. You must first go back to the beginning of the universe.
How long did it take to make a pie? 14.5 billion years.
I wish. I'm sad. I can't actually. I don't remember when Carl Sagan passed away.
It was in the 1993.
Okay. Yeah, I've never lived in a world where Carl Sagan was alive.
Right.
Which makes me sad.
It was a very aggressive cancer he died.
Yes.
I have all of, by the way, all
the original
on
Cosmos.
DVD. I have all of the original Cosmos on DVD.
I might want to borrow that from you at some point, just for the sake of sitting down and listening to Carl Sagan for a while. Because it's like, it's good scientific information, but it was from the 80s.
Right, so some of it's actually wrong.
Yeah, some of it has been found to it was true at the time.
Right, but as science happens, we learned something new.
We figured out we were wrong about that. And I've watched the Neil deGrasse Tyson ones a couple of times. Those
Also
are very,
good.
Yeah, it's a very good rendition of Cosmos. I'd love for them to do more. I wonder if that's going to be a thing where like every 20 years someone revives Cosmos.
I forgot who was the executive producer. Who was
Seth MacFarlane.
Well, yeah, Seth MacFarlane put up the money for the new Cosmos, right?
And there was a bunch of like animated segments and whatnot that Seth MacFarlane provided voice acting for. Hey, Lois, we're in Cosmos. Science. Those are my impression of Family Guy characters.
Science. Oh, that's nasty.
Peter, it's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay.
I was never all that fond of Family Guy, to be honest.
I enjoyed the first few seasons, but then I kind of fell off.
I shouldn't say I was never all that fond of Family Guy. There was when I was a kid, there was a couple of years where I was quite fond of it, and then I started watching South Park.
Sure.
And that sort of replaced Family Guy for me. And then at some point I fell off of South Park.
Sure. At my house,
we discussed recently how I'm not really a fan of South Park anymore.
Not anymore. I mean, yeah, everything has its term.
Yeah.
But my children, my 14-year-old has now watched all of The Simpsons twice. And
who has time for that? 14-year-olds.
14-year-olds.
14-year-olds is who has time for that.
You're like, I have to work so much. You work 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
And then we never see you.
Yeah.
But also my 10-year-old is also watching through the first time all the way through The Simpsons. I think we're all the way into the 2018s.
Okay.
To 2018
Jesus.
season, yeah.
That's a lot of Simpsons.
It is.
It's a lot of Simpsons. I don't think I've ever been that committed to watching all of a TV show. My roommate and I only got halfway through Cheers before we were just like, let's watch something else.
There are episodes of Cheers. I try to do that myself, and there are episodes that are you have to go just get through this one because there are some that are actually hey, let's try this new thing, and it was bad.
Yeah, no, thank you,
no, thank you. And then they're like, let's just scratch that and not do that again. But
it was weird in like season 3 when they started they weren't bad, but they started including scenes that didn't take place in the bar.
Yeah.
There were scenes in like people's apartments and stuff. And I was just like, why?
Yeah,
why aren't we in the bar right now? Go to have this be in the bar.
Every episode of The Simpsons, every episode of Cheers should be a bottle episode.
Yeah. Like the it's sitcoms in general. You can have some sort of narrative arc, but it's something that takes place in the background. And if you haven't seen any other episode and just watch this episode, you don't feel out of place. And for, that works for sitcoms and stuff. I do like serialized television.
Yes.
Mostly because now I'm not watching television as it airs.
Right.
That was not a thing until the last decade.
But that was a thing for most of my life.
Yeah. Before that, if you were tuning in to watch a sitcom and maybe you hadn't seen it before and were interested in watching it, they didn't want you to feel like you were lost and lose you as a viewer.
Right. When I was a kid, I'd be outside playing with my friends, and I'd hear my mom in the background, I'm like, oh shit, Three's Company's on. Gotta go.
Yeah. Or if someone was like, yeah, you should watch this show Cheers. It's really great. And you could just watch and be like, oh, I get Cheers now. Whereas like, Twin Peaks was one of the first like primetime TV series where, if someone was like, have you seen this show Twin Peaks? Oh, you should watch it. And then you'd sit down and watch the new episode of Twin Peaks. And you're like, what the fuck is, I've missed so much. I don't know what any of this is. Who are they talking? Who's Laura? I don't know what this is.
The only thing I know is it's great coffee and great pie.
Apparently this place makes great coffee. Kyle MacLachlan's hair is a perfect shiny dome.
Weird. Is he still the Kwisatz Haderach?
Because everyone's favorite movie is Dune.
Yeah. Duh.
They're doing they're releasing like a new trailer or something.
Yeah.
In some sort of big IMAX premiere of the new trailer.
The new trailer
for Dune.
An IMAX trailer, not an IMAX version of the movie.
But like, God, I'm excited for that movie. I'm very excited for that movie. Number one, it's an adaptation of Dune. Number two is it's a Denis Villeneuve.
I have yet to see a Denis Villeneuve movie that I didn't absolutely love. So
all the movies I've seen of his have been great.
Yeah.
I watched.
You did watch. Go ahead.
I've seen of his movies. I've seen Sicario. I've seen
Fantastic.
Arrival. I haven't seen. You were probably going to say the
Blade
new
Runner.
I haven't seen the new Blade Runner. I know.
I borrowed it from my friend.
The new Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner
2049.
Yeah,
2040. I see now. Like when I think of thing year, now I think of Cyberpunk 2077, which is
not Warpunk. No, Warpunk.
Warpunk. Warhammer 40,000 also is a
40K.
Warpunk though. Warpunk is basically Warhammer 40K, depending upon what army you play as. Like,
what if it's a steampunk Warhammer?
That's just the Adeptus Mechanicus. Oh, okay. That's the tech priests. They have a bunch of like Da Vinci-esque like steampunk shit.
Sure, but not diesel punk.
It's some of it you can maybe call diesel punk. That's more like the orcs thing,
right?
Is everything runs on gasoline and
look, I'll get this machine to work.
The orcs have a thing where, like, if they believe in something hard enough, it becomes true.
Right. That's how they operate.
It's like people exaggerate it a little bit. So to like, oh, none of their technology would work at all without it. Whereas it's a much more like subtle effect, generally speaking, unless they become conscious of it, which has happened at least once. There's a series called The Beast Arises, where there's an extremely powerful number of orcish warlords that like are smart enough to understand how their race operates, and they almost destroy the Imperium of Man. It's actually like orcs are funny usually. Yeah, this was terrifying. They were doing some really fucked up shit.
Sure.
And also they sent a diplomat to Earth. The orcs sent a diplomat Earth,
an orc diplomat
who spoke perfect High Gothic, and also laughed at like the High Lords of Terra because they were bickering amongst each other. Yeah, and he thought that was hilarious, and like he shamed them for being so ineffective and weak. This orc, who are usually football hooligans, is what they're literally inspired by, right? Like in like 80s football hooligans, or modern day football hooligans.
Sure, because it's not any different.
Seeing what's happened in the UK after they lost to Italy. Oh Jesus! Why do people care about soccer so much?
I don't know, but one thing I do know is that it's weird, and I don't care a whole lot about basketball, but the American team lost twice. The American Olympic team.
Yeah, they lost twice. You know why?
Why?
Because those losses were in games played before NBA players were available. The story that I read on AP was U.S. team wins first game in NBA eligibility period.
Right.
So I think there's a certain amount of time where their contracts forbid them from playing in games outside the NBA. So now that the regular season has been over and the playoffs are almost over because the championship is going on.
Gotcha.
A bunch of NBA players were free to go and play for the U.S. teams.
So these were guys who were, you're on the Olympic team. Yeah, we're just playing a pickup game in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're Olympians now.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how that works, but to my understanding, the recent game that they won against Argentina was the first game where they had the majority of their like NBA players available.
So they lost to Australia and Nigeria, wasn't it? Yeah.
And like now it's like you have no hope anymore.
Yeah, sorry.
All the other teams, it's like sorry, you're done.
So we powered up our shit. You guys just step aside.
Well, and it's like all the other foreign NBA players are also able to go play for their country's teams,
right?
But they're usually like the only NBA player on their country's team. That has to kind of feel like a Hollywood superstar coming back to their hometown.
Yeah,
if they're from some podunk town in Iowa, coming back to their hometown and just being like, wow. I forgot how quaint all of this is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff.
Megadeth.
I haven't played any. I was trying to. It's like, have I played any new video games I want to talk about? No, not really.
No.
Played some Vermintide 2, which is a Warhammer game that I am a big fan of. But there's not a lot of new stuff in there.
My baby boy and I need to. We've been talking about this for weeks. We want to purchase the game, the two of us.
It takes two. Yeah, which I've seen people play. It looks really fun.
Yeah, it is. We bought
played
it
the demo
for free. We got the demo. Didn't know we were getting the demo. We played through like, oh, this is great. I'm glad we got this game and purchased.
We don't have the game.
Fuck. Yeah,
it looks really, really fun. It seems like a really fun game to play. But I don't have people who play video games with me, except on like Fridays when
sure.
4 adults can synchronize their schedules.
Well, that's what my little boy does. He constantly plays with his friends.
Yeah,
we have him set up for a summer school program to where he can go during the summer and do kind of almost learning stuff, but not really. It's we're gonna slap some paint on some shit and then he'll kick a ball at fat kids, and then that's the whole day for him.
This is an excuse basically for you to be out of the house and hang out with your buddies.
Exactly, and we pay a whole lot of money for it, but on like half the days of the week he doesn't go. He says, no, I'm not going today. Leland is at home and he's going to be on PlayStation, so we're going to play Fortnite together.
See, and like I didn't have that only because I was the only dude in my class who had an Xbox instead of a PlayStation.
Sure.
And like I didn't care because I wanted to fucking play Halo.
Sure.
And
but no, like Fortnite and stuff like this cross-platform. So
it is. That wasn't a thing at the time.
Sure.
But it's like
because you're really old.
Yeah, because I'm super duper old. But no, like that wasn't a thing at the time, and so I wanted to play Halo. I didn't care too much, but like it would have been nice if I could have played games with my buddies because everybody else had PlayStations.
Sure,
it would have been nice, but hey, I love Halo, so that's all right.
I've never played Halo.
It's fun. I like it. It's fun.
It's a fun game. I like that Master Chief.
Sure.
Peace Sells, But Who's Buying by
Great
Megadeth.
Album. Yes.
Second Megadeth album. Of course, if you don't know about Megadeth, you don't know who Dave Mustaine is. Dave Mustaine is a guitar player. According to some publications, the greatest guitar player ever, or at least the greatest metal guitarist ever. I don't know if that's true. He's a talented musician.
He is a very talented musician.
I don't think he's the greatest metal guitarist ever.
No,
but he's a talented,
very
musician. Also a big old dickhead, just a big dickhead. And in many respects of his life, he's said some things that I very much disagree with.
You know,
his modern political views are very
antithetical,
very different from my own.
And religious views and whatnot. Yeah. I just remember seeing him on MTV on the Headbangers Ball. He would be a guest on there with Ricky Rachtman, if you know who that is.
No.
No. Anyway, he'd be on there, and like every other thing Ricky would say, Ricky was, talented, like a show host.
Yeah.
He could do that. And every time he'd say something, Dave would just say something just completely dick.
Yeah.
Right back at him. And so Ricky would go,
good one, Dave.
Yeah.
Fucking guy.
Yeah.
And like, so if you know anything about Dave Mustaine, what you know is that he was the original lead guitarist of Metallica. And in 1983, they had enough of his shit.
And then lead vocalist as well. I mean, but they traded off. James and Dave traded off.
And by 1983, they were sick of him.
Totally.
And so after he had gotten extremely trashed one night, they bought him a couple of bus tickets and told him he was fired and sent him back to Los Angeles.
Right.
And he started coming up with Megadeth immediately, according to him, is on the bus ride.
Right.
When he was reading an interview with some politician who was talking about nuclear weapons and the words Megadeth were used. And then like instantly, as soon as he got back to LA, he was looking for people to form a new band that he wanted to be bigger and badder than Metallica.
Right. The formation of Megadeth was 100% just
out of spite.
Fuck you. Yeah.
Out of spite.
Yeah, out of spite.
And like at the time, he was going through a lot of troubles with drugs and alcohol and whatnot. But there are some people who become monsters when they are addicts, who are without drugs and alcohol are good, fine people, good friends, good to be around. Dave did not need drugs and alcohol to be a dick.
Right. Yeah. He was a dick when he was sober.
That's just Dave,
which is fine. There's no judgment here.
Like
he's got to know.
Yeah. People can be, whatever. People can be dicks, but like the thing that like sticks with me is when you think of like people, very talented personalities in metal who are known to be difficult to work with. Like someone else who comes to mind is like Chuck Schuldiner, who everyone has said was difficult to work with,
but a great guy.
But if you weren't making an album with him, a great dude, great to be friends with, great to hang out with. But if you're making music with him, he was a lot because he had his vision and that's what he wanted to do. And like,
if you did it wrong, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, and it's not like if you were making music with him that you stuck around for very long, because Death was a completely rotating cast of musicians outside of Chuck himself.
Death is cyclical.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Wow.
Sure. But Megadeth kind of ended up being that way, rotating cast of musicians,
with the exception of
Dave Ellefson. Until very recently, it kind of ended up being that way, of a rotating cast, but not because that was the way the band worked. It was because Dave didn't like people or people didn't like Dave.
Sure. So this album was Chris Poland and Garth Samuelson.
Yes.
Guitar and drums. Yeah.
And it's also guitar. There's no lead and rhythm really. Dave goes back and forth.
Yeah, Dave plays a lot of leads. I mean, that was his job in Metallica, and
he was the lead guitarist for Metallica. Why can I never remember who the current Kirk Hammett? Mr. Wah Pedal himself.
One of the founders of Exodus.
Yes. Mr. Wah. Wah, wah.
Yeah, when I saw Megadeth, I saw them in Denver.
Colorado.
And it was on that weird tour they were on with a band they were feuding with, Suicidal Tendencies.
Why were they feuding with Suicidal Tendencies?
I can't remember. There was just this serious, and then they got together and they're like, oh, fuck you, no, fuck you. Nah, you're all right. Let's go on tour.
Fuck you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, they would switch being the opener. And when I saw them, Megadeth was the opener.
Okay.
And Suicidal was the headliner.
Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting setup. That had to have been an interesting vibe for the whole tour.
Yeah.
Touring together.
Because those are like wildly different bands.
Yeah. Also, it's weird to me. I remembered that Ben Weinman from Dillinger Escape Plan is currently playing for Suicidal Tendencies.
Lead guitar, probably,
which is weird to me. I don't think it was even lead. I think he might be playing rhythm.
Really?
Just because I'm sure...
So Mike Clark left, or?
I don't know. I'm sure Ben Weinman was just like, I'll do anything to just be in Suicidal Tendencies.
Sure.
That's fine. I don't have to think super hard about the music I play anymore. Sign me the fuck up.
And it's still fun and everybody loves it.
Yeah.
Suicidal's a great band. I love all of their albums.
And compare that to Dillinger Escape Plan.
Yeah.
Which is like fucking theoretical physics.
You need to put on your glasses, get a flashlight. You got to play, have your calculator, your abacus over here.
You need a fucking graphing calculator to figure out their time signatures.
Yeah. Not Suicidal.
No, that's...
And I saw a video recently of their original lead guitar player, Rocky George. Rocky George is fucking amazing. He's this sort of... He looks like he might be Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
And he's got this really big afro. And he played great leads in Suicidal. And then lately, he's just been coming up with this just tear your soul out of your body fucking... funk soul leads and guitar parts, and just yes, right. And he looks like he's about 300 years old, but he's still doing it, and he's doing it badass.
As long as you don't have crippling rheumatoid arthritis in your fingers, keep on playing.
Yeah.
Those fingers keep working. Then you keep on playing guitar, keep on producing them mad licks.
Indeed.
But yeah, Megadeth.
Megadeth.
So when did you get? This was one of the first albums that you got on CD,
on compact disc. Yeah.
Were you?
I already had it. Had a copy of it on a cassette.
Okay.
I owned it. I already knew what it was.
Okay. When did you listen to it first? Was it when, like, soon after it came out, or was it a little while after the fact?
It would have been middle to late 1986.
Okay.
It was about that time.
The year of.
Yeah. Yeah, and mind you, I came into heavy metal at that time. That was the crossroads that was happening at the time I came into heavy metal.
That was the
These were the metal albums that
were coming out as you were coming online as a metal
fan. Here, look,
fan.
P-Cells Who's Buying. Oh, look, Master of Puppets. Oh, look.
What a fucking time
look,
to
it's
be.
the New Testament album. My God.
What a time to become a fan of metal. And, you know, a couple years down the road, what's this death metal stuff? Let's check out this.
Absolutely. That's how that worked. And the progression of awesome metal happened like that. Although I do remember the moment that I actually became a metal fan, and it was like years before I became a metal fan.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, where you heard something and something, a gear turned, something click, a switch got flipped, but you weren't conscious of it yet.
Right, because it wasn't until I was in 7th grade that I really became a metal fan. But I know that it was the summer after the 4th grade that the switch got flipped. I was here in Minot, and I was watching one of the 3 channels you can get over air.
Yeah.
It was NBC, where they had this show called Friday Night Videos.
Okay.
And so I look, Madonna. Oh, look, Prince. You know?
Yeah.
And it was stuff. This is great. This is the greatest music ever. And then
Music.
I love music videos. And I didn't talk like that at all. But anyway, one of the VJs said that tonight we're going to do something a little more rockin'. We're going to do some hard rock tonight. Here it is, the title track from their second album. And they played. It was this nice, clean guitar, and this guy singing some nice poetry along with it.
Okay.
And it was Dio.
Oh, okay. It was Dio.
It was Dio. And I remember looking back on it. I don't, it didn't occur to me at the time, but it occurs to me now that I went,
oh.
I get all wide-eyed, slack-jawed. We're off to the witch,
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's like when you're 12 years old and see the realize, wow, I really do like girls for the first time.
Yeah, when you accidentally touch one of the boob. Whoa. That meant something.
I gotta go to my room real quick.
Where's the cushions? Where's the cushions?
Jane Cobb, I'll be in my bunk. Fucking Firefly.
Yeah.
But Dio, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good intro though. Have it be fucking Ronnie James Dio himself.
Right. Which is weird when you think about it. Oh, this is that young people music, heavy metal. Yeah, he was 44.
Yeah, he was like an old dude already.
Yeah. Well, in 84, you've been 42. Yeah, so yeah.
But like, for the time, when you compare to the crowd of heavy metal that was coming up at that time in the early or mid 80s or whatever, it's the guys from Iron Maiden were young at that point. Probably.
Iron Maiden had put out already their 6th
but they were probably all in their 20s.
Yeah, they're probably still in their 20s. Yeah.
I guess like Sabbath and obviously Motorhead and whatnot, they've been around a while, but anyway, what was it? Something that I saw today. I guess I didn't realize that there was a rainbow song that was called something like a light in the dark or something like that.
Rainbow in the Dark.
Well, no, that's a Dio song. Is Rainbow in the Dark, isn't it?
No, that's a Rainbow song.
Okay. Well, I saw a picture.
There might be a Light in the Dark as well. I think there is.
I saw a picture. Maybe there's a Dio cover of Rainbow in the Dark where it's Dio. But the joke, the meme was, whoa, Dio ripped off this rainbow thing. That was the joke.
Sure.
And also there is a Dio album cover that looks relatively similar to a Rainbow album cover. The joke being he was the lead singer of both bands.
Right. And I do like that Richie Blackmore said, okay, we're retiring. Fuck this. I'm done with music. But if this If I could find a band like this Elf band, if I could find them to be in my backup band, that would be awesome. But I'm retiring. But I'll never find a band like this. And then the voice came into the back of his head, you're Richie fucking Blackmore? So why don't you just hire this
Those
band?
guys. Yeah, just hire them.
Which he did. He's like, I can't believe I got you guys in my band. And they recorded an album. They did a tour. He's like, wow, you guys are all fired except for RJ. You can stay. So, yeah.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're good. Fuck you.
You're cool. Yeah.
You're cool.
Yeah.
All of you are unstable, erratic, sloppy. Except you, Black Noir. You're doing great. I need The Boys season 3 already.
I know. When is that coming out?
I don't know. Probably this fall at some point. That seems to be their release schedule is fall or end. When did season 2 actually? I don't remember when season 2 actually came out. What month it was? I think it was like December.
You know, actually, it's gotten past that point in my life forever. I think if you say, hey, what month is it? I'm like,
I don't know. Look out the window. You'll get a rough idea. It's North Dakota.
Sometime between May and late September?
Sometime in there. The trees are green. So.
Yeah.
Although who knows how long that's going to last this summer before trees start fucking dying.
They start frying.
We've had a bit of moisture here in the last week or so. We've gotten some luck, but
it's not going to help. You know, and I know it's going to be fucking hot at the fair this year. It's gonna be me and Jeff out there this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a long week.
Yeah, it's going to be the old guys sitting out there. And I know how we're going to... Yeah, we're going to...
But hey...
It's so bright out here.
Our boss is probably going to bring his sick fucking rocking folding chairs, though.
Hopefully.
Those that's what he brought when I was out there last. He brought those out to Stanley a couple weeks ago as well.
Sure.
They're really awesome chairs. They're very comfortable, and that like saved the week for me when I was at the fair. It was just like, you know what? This would suck a lot more if we didn't have these fucking chairs. These are great.
But I do know it's going to cost me a lot of money.
Well, because, there's a lot. After your juice cleanse is done, you're going to go and be surrounded constantly by the unhealthiest food in the world.
Can you deep fry this hamburger for me?
Of course we can. It's the North Dakota State Fair.
It's on the menu.
What the fuck are you smoking?
Weed. Oh, yeah, that's also on the menu.
Yeah. I wish. That would be great.
That would be great.
Weed vendors at the State Fair. Can you imagine? That'd be amazing. I want to go and they have to have fucking chicken and waffles on a stick.
Hopefully
they have to be back.
That was a success.
That was amazing. And they have the sauces, which include maple syrup.
I hope they call me back, by the way, because every year for the however many fairs I've been
food contest.
Yeah,
the food judging contest.
Yeah, they said, OJ, you've been judging the food contest for a decade now. You want to come do it? And then the last year we did it, instead of going from trailer to trailer,
they brought all the food to you.
Exactly.
And that took some of the magic out of it.
Took all the magic out of it because I like going to the thing, maybe getting a walk in.
And it spreads it out too.
Exactly. And they give me, here's 18 pounds of nachos. Well, guess how much nachos I'm going to eat? Not 18 pounds. I'm going to have this, that's good. And then I'm going to pitch the rest of the fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're sitting at this table, here's your 18 pounds of nachos. Here's deep fried babies. Here's, here's the goddamn funnel cake with hot sauce on it.
Here's 5 pounds of pickle chips.
Yeah, no, God, now I got to look at this. I'm overwhelmed. I'm uncomfortable. I'm sweaty and greasy already.
Yeah, versus just walking around and getting it. There's an experience to that. You feel like Anthony Bourdain.
Yes,
a little bit. Mm-hmm. The trashiest version of Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, I was smoking, doing cocaine.
Yeah,
between every just
doing some great television.
Exactly,
hanging out with interesting people. There's a documentary coming out
about Anthony Bourdain.
I never watched his show. I never read any of his books.
Never watched every show he's ever been on.
But I saw the trailer for it and I was like, I want to watch that. That looks good because I've never watched any of Anthony Bourdain's stuff. But I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks pretty interesting.
It's always weird when you see Anthony Bourdain going into some crazy jungle where you think there's going to be snipers and shit. Any other person you're thinking, oh shit, this is going to be dangerous, but you see Anthony Bourdain standing at the front of the boat going, and you're going,
this is all fine.
Nothing is going to happen. Nothing could happen.
This is fine.
This guy is bulletproof.
Just unfazed by almost anything is the impression I got.
Sadly, as it turns out, he was suicidal. So
yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. But Megadeth.
No, I had the CD. I had this. It was great. I got a CD player when it was in 1988. I got my CD player.
How was it like a good CD player or was it a crappy CD player?
It was a console CD player, which is really all you could get at the time.
Okay.
You know, something that plugs into another thing, so you can play it. And it was big and it was heavy and it had a big bright
display of some kind.
Yeah. And then in one train it went, and then you drop a disc in it. Yeah.
Cool.
And it was great. And I had the album cover. This was when you could buy the CDs, and the album cover was like a big
thing,
long rectangle.
I know what you're talking about, where it's like the case has like, is it the type of case that has like a handle on the bottom almost?
Well, okay,
I'm picturing in my head.
That's inside the cardboard. You take out the cardboard, and then that jewel case with the handles on the inside, and you have to snap it out of that plastic. And you have to undo the shrink wrap, and
it's
several like digging layers for gold. Yeah. But I had those. I had this. I had New Order from the Testament, and the Testament. I had And Justice for All. I had, what else did I have on my wall? I had Spreading the Disease on my wall. I would always tape them on my wall. Nice. It was awesome.
Nice. I feel that way. I like when, and I haven't gotten a ton of records like this, but sometimes they will put up folded posters in vinyl records these days. I have a Goat Whore poster.
Yes, you do.
I know that guy. Even though I haven't listened to a lot of Goat Whore, I have one Goat Whore record. Yeah. I should listen to more Goat Whore. They seem like my thing, but
they're good.
The posters kick ass. It's a cool fucking poster.
I remember I threw a party at my mom and dad's house when they were away when I was 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom had a record collection there. The whole thing got stolen. Every piece of vinyl. And there was one record, and there was a double record album that had a big poster in it. And it was a first printing. The album was completely white.
It was the Beatles. It's the White Album. That has to be worth a lot today.
Police got called, fire got called. There was a fire, but of those three things, they stole my fucking Beatles records. That was the thing she was most pissed about.
I mean, yeah. I get it.
Yeah. I would have reacted the same way.
That would suck. So does this slap?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it slaps. It's a Megadeth album. The score, this is the modern retrospective review aggregate is 83.
Okay.
The opinion on it at the time seemed to be a little bit more divided.
Mm-hmm.
Like the contemporary reviews seem to be like not negative, but people are like, it's better than their first, but whatever. Mm-hmm. But now in retrospect, it's viewed much more highly. It's
a classic.
Generally speaking, it's considered a classic.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite song?
Actually, Black Friday is.
I like that double.
Yeah,
the double song.
Right.
It's what is it? It's.
What is the first part of it?
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning. Black Friday. I like those two. I wrote Bad Omens.
Bad Omens. Bad Omen.
Too. I like that one. It seemed like the most sort of complex songwriting. It's the one that sort of stuck out to me. Like, ooh, that's a intricate riff right there. I dig that.
Also, I like their Howlin' Wolf cover that they have on here.
It's just weird to me. That song's just weird to me.
Yeah.
And I figured it had to be a cover because I was just like, this is weird.
Yeah, this isn't Megadeth.
This doesn't fit in with anything else on this record.
It's superstitious.
I have to be honest, I don't like the title track.
Really?
That's the
most
last
iconic track.
I like the last minute and a half of the title track. I really don't care for the first part. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things I've always heard about Megadeth. And I came into it with an open mind, but the thing that a lot of people say is like, if you're gonna dislike something about Megadeth, it's probably Dave's vocals.
Sure.
And that was the thing. I'm like, there are some times where it's fine, but there are certain things he does where it's like, this just doesn't work. Stop doing it. Quit it.
Weird.
Stop doing that. Like this weird kind of growl talk that you're doing. It's bad. Just like sing it normal. and
he tried doing that. They made an album of stuff. Hey, we're going to be experimental, and that by far every Megadeth fan goes, no, can we just forget?
It's my least favorite Megadeth album. It's I liked the last minute and a half of the title track.
Sure,
where he actually says the words of the title.
Peace sells,
but who's buying?
Peace sells, but who's Brian?
Like I like that part, but the first, however long, the vocals just, I just don't like them. They got under my skin in a way that I didn't care for. This is a dumb question. What medal are you OJ bestowing upon this album? Like Maz Kanata to Chewbacca.
Gold.
Yeah.
Of course it's a gold.
I'm calling it a silver. Just because like
it doesn't appeal to you.
Yeah, Dave's vocals are just not quite my thing. And it's
believe it or not, I actually like the album after this better. Which I bought on cassette with the BX in the Philippines.
We talked about this at length, and I can't remember which one it is. That's actually
so far
next.
So good. So what?
That's the next one. Okay, that's number 3.
Yeah, it was. I bought it. You ever bought a cassette from a music store?
No.
You open it up and it has.
I'm 25.
It smells like a new shoe, and it's just
a new shoe.
It does, and I spent as much
shoe.
A new shoe.
It is me, a new shoe.
A new shoe. I spent as much time sniffing the cover to that album than I did listening to it.
I mean, hey, whatever gets your rocks up.
He does a Sex Pistols cover on that one.
Okay, I've had opportunities to buy cassettes. I don't have a cassette player, though.
So why would you? Although, if you go by that logic, you shouldn't have bought your first record album either. So.
Yeah, but it was an album that I had listened to before, though,
right? And
I had been playing with the idea of getting into vinyl before that, and then was like, oh, it's Jane Doe by Converge. Yeah. I guess I'm getting a record player because I'm buying this album. Versus if I see something on cassette, I'm just like, I'm not going to get a cassette. I'm going to get this album, but on vinyl. Because if it's on cassette, if it's a band that has bothered to put their music on cassette today, if it's like new issue, newly made cassettes,
it's weird.
They're doing vinyl too.
I still remember I was in the aforementioned Navy that I was in.
Stint.
Your
short
Navy.
Stint in the Navy.
Yes, the short stint in
the Navy.
I remember going to the BX at one point, and I bought some Tums. I had $20 in my pocket, and I bought some Tums, and I bought Countdown to Extinction on cassette.
There you go. What more do you need?
That's my Navy experience.
Than Tums and Countdown to Extinction. The two things the Navy is known for.
And then they threw me out.
The hallmarks of anyone's naval service.
Yes.
is Tums.
And the album Countdown to Extinction on cassette.
And some Dramamine. Yeah.
Well, if you're going on the boat, I never got into a boat, so.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you near a boat.
Yeah. Like that girl I dated who was in the Air Force, she was in the security police, and they went, we don't feel you need to be carrying a weapon. So, motor pool?
Here's a whistle. If you see something, you can summon someone who has a gun.
Yes.
Now I'm just thinking of the other guys. Yeah. Where they give him the wooden gun. Right. And then eventually they just give him a rape whistle. It's been too long since I've seen that movie. That was a funny movie.
I was high in a hotel room the last time I saw that movie.
The other guys.
Yeah.
So next week, I am going to bring a Neurosis album. I chose Times of Grace.
Okay.
Because I think that was the start of all of their music is a little weird, but I think Times of Grace is the start of their real weird stuff.
Sure.
Like their stuff before Times of Grace is great. It's very heavy, but it's not like. When I think of Neurosis, I think of like weird atmospheric stuff. And Times of Grace is the first one that really leaned heavily in that direction.
Right.
To the point where they formed a different band to do even weirder stuff that made an album that's designed to be played concurrently with Times of Grace.
I'm down with that. I mean, I was going to go earlier.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way that I can listen to both of them simultaneously, but have it be like decent quality, because there's a version on YouTube, but it's very old.
Right.
And I think the audio quality is not super great.
I believe Times of Grace is one of the albums I had, and Through Silver and Blood was the one that I was going to pick. But
that was the 96 album.
Right, but
right before Times of Grace.
Times of Grace is the one. Yeah, it was the one after that.
But that's the one
good.
I went with. So that's the one we're going to listen to.
All right.
Gosh darn it.
What was the other Neurosis? It wasn't even Neurosis. It was one. It sounded like they were yelling "Tastes great, less filling" at each other for like 18 minutes.
I don't know.
And if you'd smoke some really good bud, it's like, I don't know what's going on. I can't.
I don't understand this, but it's cool.
How long is this song? It's 2 minutes.
Forever.
Fuck, I've been here since sunrise. What's going on?
You've actually been listening to Sleep.
Yeah.
Which that was another thing when I think when I went in to buy and ended up buying Jane Doe, they had a bunch of copies of Dope Smoker.
Of course.
Which I didn't know anything about. And since I've known anything about Sleep, I haven't seen a single copy of Dope Smoker in a record store. Because this was right around the time they had done another reissue of it.
Yeah.
So they'll do another one eventually, because it's Dope Smoker. Like, come on. People were doing reissues of that album before Sleep got back together. People were doing like bootleg reissues of the album because it never officially came out.
It wasn't a real thing.
Yeah. They had recorded it in the studio, went, what the fuck? What is this? You were supposed to make an album. This is one song. What the fuck? This is the same riff for 60 minutes.
I was just looking on here to see if they had any music by Fudge Tunnel on
fucking Fudge Tunnel.
Yeah, but
on
they don't have any
Amazon Music.
on Amazon Music.
No Fudge Tunnel.
No
All right.
Fudge Tunnel.
So until next week when we talk about Neurosis,
yes,
you can find us on Facebook and on Twitter. We have pages there. We post episode links on those pages. If you want to listen to us on your browser, we don't do anything else on those pages. So
or at all.
To, just drive our engagement up, I guess, if you want. So I don't really mind. You can follow us on Libsyn or on Apple Podcasts. The mobile version of Libsyn is called the Podcast Source. You can find it in the Google Play Store if you don't have an iOS device.
Right.
So thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.